Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Mile of Golf podcast for episode 190 something or other. It's me. I'm back briefly. Still here in Scotland. If you look at the YouTube video, if we get that done, I can't get rid of the 150th vibe. Many people that I've spoken to can't get rid of the 150th vibe, so I'm still running with it. I've got this beautiful photo here in the background. It was only a week away last week, but as I say, the energy around the Open is still running pretty high. The energy from my two co-hosts has been running high in my absence, and apologies again for the absence. I just haven't been able to match up the time zones, but today is the day. So thanks for joining us again. We've got the two kings of the podcast, the guys that keep the ship going. Rocket Man, no music, Rocket. This is on the road, computer, fluffy microphone. Rocket, yeah. Oh dear, I still got the editing stuff, mate. It can come out. No, we might be able to put it in. Rocket, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's good to see the leader back.
Is that how you? It definitely did sound that's how you were doing the theme tune music. First up, still playing it from the phone.
So we had a technical difficulty. So the first one, there's a way you can share the sound when you're doing it on Zoom, and I think I did it right the first one. The second one, I stuffed it up. So it was picking up all the sound from my speakers instead of just piping it straight into the recording. So that's why it sounded shocking.
It was quite funny. Magic, how are you?
Excellent. Very good. Much easier having three of us to talk about golf rather than just Rocket and I blabbering on.
No, you did a sensational job. Well done. Well, I'm here. I'm here. I don't know where to start and where to stop. It's been 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks today since I arrived. It seems like 2 years already, but it seems like 2 days in the same breath. I'm sure if anyone's travelled recently, they've experienced that. If anyone has travelled to Scotland recently, and you've seen those pictures that about 1 million Australians have shared with me, asking me, are they your golf bags in there? If you have travelled to Scotland, by all accounts, looking at those pictures, you will be waiting for your golf clubs to turn back up in the next 365 days. Could you believe the amount of? I felt sorry for the poor baggage handlers out there, and I was thinking about it, like, because a lot of people have been giving out about it, and they've copped a lot of flack. Every media agency's put that picture out, but there were so many people here converging on Scotland for golf, obviously to go to the Open, but just so many people playing golf. It's incredible. And, it's a country of 5 or 6 million people. We've had our baggage handling issues in Melbourne. We've had our check-in handling issues in Melbourne. All those issues that we've had at the airport, in which, Channel 9, Channel 10, Channel 7 devote way too much time for on, morning news. Poor fellas out at Edinburgh Airport, mate. I don't know how many people Edinburgh's got in it, 500,000, maybe a little bit more, but the whole country's only like 5 million, 6 million people. And to have the amount of golfers that were here converging on that with these big, awkward bags, and they're all oversized and heavy luggage, so it needs a specialty care, as we all know as golfers. Felt sorry for them. But, because everyone's been saying, they should have been more prepared and all of that sort of stuff. But, mate, just to see those bags.
You can never be prepared for that. Doesn't matter how much you prepare, you still probably underprepared for the volume of people, especially because it's not like any normal. It was the 150th at St Andrews, and I feel like, and you'll be able to comment on this because one of the questions I'm gonna, I'll ask and let you have to think about is, you think about when you're at Troon, and then you think about your week there, and it feels like there's an element of, this is what it feels like for me. There's an element of people that are actually gaining more of a appreciation for the history, the traditions, little bits of golf, and they're wanting to just consume as much of it as humanly possible. So I feel like even if they were prepared, I don't think they were prepared for the amount of people that were just going to basically just the deluge of people that's coming into Scotland, not only for the Open, but basically they've planned like whole trips and holidays all around it.
Spot on. There was definitely that feeling that, the people that were there wanted to be part of something special. the standard line was, well, there's never going to be another 150th Open here at St Andrews ever again. So we may as well have, got this one. And, the people that I sort of spoke to in passing and just standing on this side of the ropes and in and around the compound and whatever, that was certainly the vibe. And even since, the people that I bumped into, I've been wearing my 150th hat, and the locals been asking, "Are you here for the Open?" Yeah. What do you think? All those questions. And I think you answered it pretty much, Rocket. People just down for it. And in terms of an event, like, think about the President's Cup that we went to, and amplify it by 10 on steroids in terms of setup, infrastructure, people, and Mike. We fight about the capabilities of Royal Melbourne or Kingston Heath versus PK to host a President's Cup and have the infrastructure and be able to do that. And I hark back to my points of, mate, there's one road in and one road out of that town, and it flowed like clockwork. The worst inconvenience, and I spent 3 days there. The worst inconvenience was driving around the town afterwards. You couldn't get a car park to go out and get something to eat, and that was as bad as it got, because the locals live at the back of the clubhouse. There you can see in the background of the we know the back of the clubhouse, but if you're watching the video, hopefully I can get this back up on video. People live just around the corner and up the streets. All the uni students, most of them have vacated and letting golfers stay there, but people live there, so they had to park somewhere. Anyway, you're right, Rocket. Sensational. The vibe was sensational around being special here. In terms of Troon, comparing it to Troon, what I would say about Troon, other than it's still a fantastic golf course, the one little sort of chink that St Andrews brings is it's a harder venue to watch a lot of the golf and to get around. There's not as many crossings. You are on the outside of the golf course. The shape of the golf course. You look up and you follow along, and you look up and you can see that view of the town in the background, and all of a sudden, you're in the town a minute ago, and then 20 minutes later, you're like, oh wow, I'm like way out here. Like, it looks like it's kilometers away. So there's quite a bit of walking, and that it's not an issue. But there's a few spots that were good to watch from. Out in the loop there on the inside of 9 and 10. That's where I watched sort of Rory and Cam Smith come through. Where I think Cam chipped it up pretty close on 9, missed the putt, and then Rory was like short and wide. He was out in the 10th fairway, and once again knocked it up into close, didn't make it. That was probably the turning point where Cam stood on the gas, I reckon. It was 10, 11, 12 through that section there. But anyway, saw so many people at the merch tent. It's insane, Mike. Sorry. By the time I did get back, got your message and got back to the merch tent on the Sunday, everything was gone. Like, it was gone.
No, I'm gonna find a flag somewhere. Definitely.
I'll find you a flag. Don't worry. I made a contact. I'll find you a flag. It might have to be sent, but I'll find you a flag.
Let me know how you go.
The Open. Sorry, I don't know where I'm going to want to keep going. I just have to say a big thanks to my colleagues at Bushnell Europe who organised some of the tickets. We rocked in there, and I didn't actually know, and Paul and I rocked in there. We didn't actually know what level of passes they were. We know we had to scan in. It was a one-time entry. I know I had to print off a pass for a car park. It was pretty close, like it was players drop off, other people, and then us. So we just parked it next to the driving range, and we walked in, and we had to go to the accreditation area for the tickets, which was inside the players' accreditation area. And literally,
so you didn't even need a rangefinder to find where you had to park or anything like that.
There was no park and ride. It was so different experience to 2016 Troon. The park and ride set up, which is great. Basically you pay for $10 for parking. A bus shuttles you in and out, and it's spoken to people that did that. It's no hassle. It's 10 minutes away. But it was just, I was out of my zone, put it that way. I was like well and truly out of my zone. Oh, I literally standing there. I had to show my driver's license to match it up with the picture that was on the card, and standing next to Sean Foley, like I effectively pushed in front of Sean Foley, and he's like, "Give me the g'day, mate. G'day, Sean. How you going, mate?" I chose my moments when to flick in, and I still do flick in and out of the Scottish accent. But I was standing there next to Sean Foley, and okay, big deal. But walking past is everyone, like, and you've got to be cool. Like you're one of them. So there's no, can I get a photo? Can I get an
You
autograph?
can't fanboy it out.
No, you can't at all. And it's hard to explain. Like everyone was there. It's just like, you know who was there playing. And I was just like ding-batting around in there, eating their bloody, they get well looked after for food-wise. A funny story. So I wouldn't sit in there and stare at people. That's not what I was doing. We went in there, saw what we had access to if you wanted to sit down. But there was one time I went to get some lunch, and Ian Poulter was in there, and he was like loading up on the chicken curry. I thought, well, if Ian's loading up on the chicken curry, I'm going to load up on the chicken curry. And Ian's just standing there, and the girls with the Bain Marie and the boys with the Bain Marie thing, putting the 2 scoops of rice, 1 scoop of chicken, and he's just like giving it these ones, more, pile it on. So I'm like literally standing there beside Ian Poulter. He's got this big back massager thing on this, must be this, therapeutic heat. Looked like he was going to take off in a rocket pack type scenario. He's walking around in that. I don't know if it was pre or post round. And I walked up and said, if it's good enough for Ian, it's good enough for me. Half the serve, please. So I had the same chicken curry, just one behind Ian. Didn't talk to Ian, of course. That would be uncool. But the players have this big double story. It was like double story players lounge, and breakfast downstairs, dinner upstairs, whatever you want. And when it finished, all of the hanger-oners, the support staff and families, they're obviously getting on planes or getting on trains or whatever and taking off. And they give you a paper bag, so you could take some lunch out if you wanted to go out and take on the range or whatever and do all that sort of stuff. These people were just loading up these bags. It was terrible. like 3 of them turning up, just putting all the sandwiches in, putting a few Cokes in, putting a few Iron Brews in, chocolate bars, walking out. It was like they'd been to Tesco's, mate. And like they're walking out with these bags. I'm just sitting there having a coffee, like embracing. This was post the winners ceremony. I was just sitting there having a coffee because I had to drive back to Edinburgh and have a look at these people. So it was a bizarre people watching week. Phil talking to Sean Foley. What's the connection with Phil and Sean Foley? They're not working together, are they? No. They were talking together. Looked like I wouldn't say it was stern words, but they were certainly having a good, solid chat. Phil didn't look happy. Whenever I walked past him, he didn't look like he was
happy in general.
Yeah, didn't look like happy. And then, oh, sorry, I'm rambling. I'll go back to the day one. So day one, when we got there and we realised, hey, these passes are pretty good. They had a little white pass, a white lanyard on it, which said practice days only. And we, without wanting to appear like we weren't supposed to be there or didn't know what we were doing, we asked the person who was in charge, said practice day only. What does that get us to be able to do? Oh, you can go inside the ropes with your players on the practice day. Thanks. I thought so. So, of course, Matty Griffin was there, and I wanted to shoot a few photos and a few videos for Drum & Golf while I was there. And we did a bit of work in the lead up on the sim, as you've seen. And Tomo was caddying for Matty Griffin. Tomo has worked with me and for me in the store for a stage, but he's caddied, lifelong caddy, also a very strong drumming guy. So Tomo was caddying for Matty, and Tomo's a legend. Caddy for Charlie Wee at the Seniors Open. Don't know how Charlie Wee went. So we went out and followed Tomo and Griffo around for pretty much 18 holes of the practice round, and he was playing with Ernie. And just to be able to walk side by side with Ernie, unbelievable. Like, we love Ernie. Like, I love Ernie. Like,
again, you have to play cool, Ross.
And but I had my camera. I didn't realize I could take my big camera out there, and I left my big lens, so I only had my small lens. So, I didn't think you could take a camera at all, like a professional camera. You could take cameras on not practice days, but not on tournament days. Anyway, all these guys are running around with these big, super long lenses on the practice day. So I trotted back to my car, and of course, it was just at the practice range, so that was pretty easy. But I didn't have my big lens, so I got out there and I was taking some photos, and I wasn't talking to Ernie, like he was doing his work with his caddy, but he was certainly engaging with Tomo and Matty Griffin, really, talking to them about, you don't want to be here, and, have a look at where this is going to be like this, and blah, blah, blah. So I think Matty got so much out of 18 holes or 17 holes, because Ernie, they were staying at the Old Course Hotel. He hits his drive down 17.
And then just walks straight to the hotel.
Yeah, puts 6 balls in, plays up to 17 green, says, okay, guys, I'll see you. Quick photo on the fairway, and just steps over the fence and into the Old Course Hotel. And that's what they're all doing, like Rafa Cabrera and I don't know, who's the little guy, the little Spaniard, not Rafa Cabrera, the other Lara Thabo. Lara Thabo must have been out partying the night before, because I think Ernie said something like, so are you ready? And he was like, I got ready last night, the 3 a.m. finish, no problems. I know how to do it. Something like that. So I think he'd been out and had a bit of fun. Who knows? I could be wrong. Ernie lays up 6 balls up into the 17th and then says, okay, guys, see you, gets a photo and takes off. But just to watch Ernie get around inside the ropes and see him interact with everyone who was yelling out to him, all the South Africans, all the UK guys, anyone who loves Ernie was yelling out to him. And, he stopped mostly to sign kids' autographs, called a kid back who missed, they were walking off, and then the kid wanted an autograph, and he motioned to the stewards to let the kid come under, and he ran down the fairway, got an autograph and a flag. He was just a phenomenal human. So he laughed at us. He said, all the Aussies together. So he's having a laugh at the Aussies hanging out, and we were talking about the rugby a bit. But I spent a good bit of time chatting to Liesl, his wife. She missed a plane. So many people missed planes coming up to the Open. So she drove, and they lived down at Wentworth, of course, as most people know. And just talked about Ernie and how much he loves the Open, how special it is. He's looking forward to playing the Seniors Open. He was obviously contending there for a bit. So unbelievable. Just to stand up close and watch that man swing, unbelievable. The other people I followed on the Wednesday, because I walked out by myself, I was doing a bit of Herbie hunting. I bumped into Herbie on the range. As soon as we arrived, Herbie was on the range. And, once again, not supposed, play it cool. Herbie, Ross, how you going? He was going out in the back 9. So I went to try and find him, but missed him. And saw Stenson and John Daly. So I just walked to the 17th next to them, took a few photos. Little did we know what was on Henrik's mind at that stage. And what else?
Money.
Yeah. I took this photo from the photo that's in the background, which you've seen me post. That's from the putting green on the rooftop of Russex. We went and had dinner there, not upstairs, but downstairs on the Wednesday night. Just
there's another player.
Yeah.
Do I have to spell it out?
Oh, Max. Oh, sorry. Yes. That was unbelievable. That was unbelievable. Like, once again, I'd walked past Max that morning going, oh, there's Max. Can't get a photo for Rocket. Sorry. And we were walking down the 18th. Ernie had gone. Matt wanted to finish playing. There was a Korean, Ming Young Cho, playing. And all of a sudden, Max Homer appears at the front of the 17th bridge with his partner, girlfriend, wife. I'm not sure.
Macy.
I'm sorry. Macy, yeah, I'm sorry.
Macy, not that I'm an Uber fan or anything like that.
Well, Macy turns up, and Max is there, like just with a putter in his hand. Like, Max Homer. He's like, what? Like he was like beamed in for Rocket. And Macy says to me, you've got a camera that's the same as mine. Would you mind taking a photo of us on the bridge? My friend took a photo earlier on and it didn't come out. You look like you know what you're doing. Can you take our photo? Sure, no problems. So I took Max's photo and Macy's photo on the bridge.
Lacey's.
How do you spell that?
Lacey.
Oh, Lacey. Sorry,
Lacey's.
not Macy. Lacey. I've got a friend whose daughter's Macy. Lacey. I took Lacey and Max's photo on the bridge. I said, "Hey Max, I've come a long way. My guy Rocket is a massive fan. He would be. Can we do him a favor and can we have a photo together?" He went, "Yeah, sure, no worries, man." And then I followed Max up the fairway in his shadows, like trying to breathe in some Max vibe. I'm also trying to give him some Ross vibe back. Clearly failed. I was trying here. I didn't tell him the story. Don't worry. I didn't tell him that you've had an encounter. No, because you have to play. I didn't ask him that either. Yeah. But yeah, walked up the 18th fairway with Max. He had a few putts on the green. They walked off. I checked with Lacey if the photo was okay. She said that one's great. I tried to sneak a few more photos, and that was the day. Done.
How did you give them the photo?
No, well, Lacey was walking around with her camera.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so no,
Sorry,
I don't have
she
Max
didn't have
home.
a camera, so she wanted you to take a photo with yours and send it to them.
No, I don't have Max Homer's WhatsApp details. Don't worry. Sorry, I can't get him on.
That's where I was going.
Yeah,
so when's he on the podcast?
No, he's pretty quiet. He's, it's just a dude, who we thought was some level of authority, walking around with a decent camera on the middle of the fairway. So there wasn't too many other dudes walking the middle of the fairway in the practice round. So I was in the sanctum for a moment, Rocket. Yeah, it was unbelievable. But it was like made to happen. It was like I was so happy when they're like,
the universe.
That's Max Homer. Hey, take my photo. It was cool.
Universe. I love it.
Yeah, so it was surreal. I got to walk on the range. Would have, once again, you don't want to look like a knob. You don't want to walk around standing behind every player in the universe, taking photos and videos of them. You've got to be somewhat cool and do what the other people are doing, although there are plenty of hangers-oners. It was just standing watching John Rahm just squash golf balls and just seeing the ball flights these guys hitting. There was a bit of breeze, as you saw and I've played a couple of rounds of golf subsequently in breeze, and just thinking about how they hit driver into that breeze. Like there's no little knockdowns, like they're just pummeling it straight down the fairway. It's just like going through the air like a missile. But I think
that's coming out with no spin.
Unbelievable. Interesting. But watching, and I didn't see a lot of Rory and Cameron in that final round, but just I thought Rory would be longer on some of the holes where he could have got closer. Like he did hit a couple of high spinny ones and didn't get the distance. Like on 18, he should have been on the green. I don't know where he drove it. Anyway,
and even I think it was even on the I think it might have been 10.
Yeah,
I think it might have been 10. Did the same thing. Instead of being up where he should have been, it was short and sort of a bit to the right.
Did Cameron drive that green? There was one where he drove and like Rory was like miles away.
Like, yeah, I think it was 10.
Yeah, one that he was right near the front. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Roscoe. I think he's just hitting the ball a little too high. He didn't really change that flight too much from his normal real high ball and into the wind. He was just losing distance. I mean, Cam Young is a big hitter, but he's not. Him and Rory wouldn't be that far different. One's putting it on the green, and one's, he was way short Rory on 18.
On the TV, how close was Cam Young's ball to going out of bounds on 18?
No, not close.
Not close. That railed up around the yeah.
No.
I mean, then no one hit it down that way, so the commentators were a little bit like, "Ooh," but he was 5 meters in, comfortably.
It looked sensational from where I was standing on the side of 18 and watching, trying to watch them come up. There's 175 million people trying to do the same, and so it was sensational. So I don't know. Yeah, we stayed in the house. Staying in the house was awesome. Yeah, I stayed in the house one night in St Andrews. Was awesome. Just to go in town and have dinner at Russack's there, and right across from the 18th in the front window with someone from the RNA. It was sensational. So that was the Open. Dribble.
So golf.
Yeah, golf.
Where have you
There's
been
been
playing?
been a bit of that. So day one of the tour was golf out at Loch Lomond. I think I mentioned that. We were playing there. That was good fun. Beautiful course. Not a links course. It's like it's a Weiskopf course. So it's got that little bit of touch of American sort of feel about it, but just in a beautiful location beside Loch Lomond. Can't get much better in terms of location. Pheasants jumping out of the grass when you're going to look for your board, flying away, that sort of stuff. The hills and the braes are Ben Lomond in the background on some of it's great. So we met another group of people there. Our host was Michael, and Michael is mates with Darren from Bushnell, Europe. So Michael, who's a member, English fella, came up and hosted two groups. The other group was Ox, the big Oxy boy, David Swartz, who was traveling around for his 50th birthday with a few other people. So we split up into two groups. It was Ox and I versus the two that we were playing against. Ox went birdie finish and claimed victory for team Flanox. And it was a good day. Drove back to Edinburgh.
Could have been Oxygen.
Oxygen. I like that. Team Oxygen. It was an early start, late finish. You have the whole day experience at Loch Lomond. You get up there, you eat your breakfast, hit balls on the range, you play your golf, you have lunch, you have drinks, and next thing you know, it's 8:00 at night, and you're leaving. That was good. What else? Friday was North Berwick with Josh. Josh, shout out to Josh. He's a great man at Golfing Scotland. He is he should change his Instagram or have a separate Instagram for Caddy Fixer. Josh has fixed up, you name it, the who's who.
He had a busy 2 weeks.
You name it, the who's who of caddies. Josh has arranged rounds of golf for them, either at North Berwick or at Carnoustie, with his connections over there.
Not just the caddies, it was the players as well.
So you've been talking to him. So you tell us who's Josh fixed up for rounds of golf? Because of course, as everyone would know, the Scottish Open was the week before the Open. A lot of the players stay at the Marine Hotel, which is that beautiful old hotel which overlooks the 16th green at North Berwick. It's just down the road from the Renaissance Club, so they're staying there and basically playing golf and then just walking out of their hotel and walking onto the golf course. So who did he fix up, Rocket?
So bear with me. There's certain information obviously we will not reveal, but he's had there was Grella, Bones from a caddy perspective. He's had and I'm going back to the other one. Then he's had, from a player's perspective, Luke List, JJ Spawn, Siwa Kim, Fleetwood's caddy, Spieth's agent. Who else is there? Jamie Donaldson. Who else is there? Oh, there's another really funny one. I don't know if he set up Teddy Scott, but he was there. Actually, I won't mention that one. It's quite a funny story. That one's an off-air one. Actually, no, it was Teddy. He set up for Teddy.
Yeah, he did.
And I'm trying to see who else. Siwa, there's some great pictures of Siwa in some dishes that he's just not used to. Was there any others? I'm just going through the list. I've covered most of the major ones.
So we played twice. We played Friday.
Oh, I think. I was about to say Collins caddy. That's JJ. He already hooked him up. Yeah, that was the other one. JJ, Collins caddy as well. JJ. Yeah.
So we played the Friday, and he had a guest from the States who is a journalist at Harvard Business Review. Really nice young American fella, great guy. Has a family house in Arbroath, which is sort of up the Carnoustie Coastway. Interesting story how that became into the family. And then we finished that round, sitting there having a drink, and then we were converged on by another American couple and the three of them had known each other and connections of each other. It was unbelievable. Doesn't sound like much on an audio podcast, but I'm just listening to these people talk about who they knew in common. It was crazy. But on the Monday, I went. Sorry.
And the other thing as well, the day that you were there with Josh, that on whatever hole it was where there's a shared tee, he just happens to get a photo with the sheriff.
Oh, that was the second day. That was just the Monday. So I went back. So I've had 2 games of golf at North Berwick. Like most people dream about walking onto the 18th green in front of the clubhouse. You know, here I'm playing 2 games of golf in 3 days. So I went back there on the Monday. Josh said, we've got Sunday on Monday. What do you want? I said, how's both sound? He went, yeah, that's fine. No worries. And we played that day with Dylan. We were playing with Dylan Fratelli's manager. Interesting character.
Oh, Frugal Fratelli.
Played with Frugal Fratelli's manager. No, he was a nice guy, and his brother. And we got to like the 3rd hole, I think. And it wasn't a shared tee, but the green obviously just there, nothing's too far away. And you could see Josh was looking out for where Peyton Manning was.
He knew.
Yeah, he knew where they were coming. He was like, that's them over there. So we went and watched that, and he just rocked in and said, hey, I'm the man. Can I get a photo? And it was all good.
American, and I'm a member here.
Yeah. So he got his photo with Peyton Manning, and I think someone he's connected to in the family is a massive Peyton fan. So yeah,
so good.
What's Peyton's brother's name?
Eli.
Yeah, I think they're both there. Yeah, that was a heap.
Actually, that's there's a video that those two. It's going in the rocket rabbit hole. Actually, there's a couple of ads they used to do for DirecTV. Yeah. Some of the funniest stuff. Like these two look like boring people, but they're really funny dudes. So I'm going to put some rocket rabbit hole videos in on those two. There's some good stuff.
Look, I'm not as close to that sport as you are, Rocket, but as you say, there's been that many people, and anyone, whether you know them in the business world, know them in the sporting world. Like the day before, Peyton Manning was sitting, he had one of the £5,000 a day tickets, whether he was given and paid for it, who knows, but where this picture on the background is taken from, that putting green that you've seen the pictures of at Russack's overlooking the 18th.
Yep.
My cousin, Cow, who came up with us, said, I saw Peyton Manning up on that balcony up there. So he was up there the day before, and then the next day he was just hanging out with Josh, getting a snap on the 16th tee at North Berwick. That was that golf, and then I had a couple of days off. That was a weekend of the trip. I probably spent about 3.5 minutes with Mrs. My love of golf by that stage. So we, on Tuesday, you know what we did?
What'd you do?
We went to a concert.
Oh, that was Friday night. Friday night we went to a concert. Amazing. Elbow. We love Elbow. On the promenade of Edinburgh Castle. It's all set up for the tattoo, but they did have all these gigs. Elbow, unbelievable. No, Tuesday we went for a drive to St Andrews. I went back.
Her idea?
Well, no, definitely not. I learned from experience on the past trip where I incorporated too much golf into our personal time too early. But I think even she was aware of the fact and the enormity of the 150th Open at St Andrews. So we just basically drove around that whole, what they call the East Nuke of Fife. All those little towns, those little seaside villages around the map there, which you can see, Anstruther, Ely, Leven, Crail, and they've all got beautiful little ports and harbours. And we stopped and had a sandwich at once and a coffee at another and an ice cream at the next one. And we were just driving and talking. And I said, look, this road's going to take us back into St Andrews. And she said, that's all right. They'll have a Boots chemist there. I need something from Boots chemist. So let's go. Okay. And so we went into the town. It was still pumping. And as we drove out, I said, look, I couldn't fly my drone here, obviously, the last couple of days. It's crazy being here with the drone in the back of the car if I can't take a photo of the Cam Smith leaderboard with his name still on it. Oh, it's no problems. So I just pulled up literally beside the 18th tee in the car and popped the drone up. So those drones, you can see those photos you can see on the Instagram are all taken 2 days after. So I tried to get the C. Smith, though. Actually, the guy, if you look at the photo, there's the scaffolding up there, and they're taking the congratulations, Cam Smith, see you at Royal Liverpool next year, already taking it down. But we did that. So that's what we did the first day we were together. We went back to St Andrews, and then sorry, enough about me. But I'll just finish off my golf. On Thursday, she was going down to see her sister who lives in London with my mother-in-law. So that was 5 days. It's now Monday, our time. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I planned a little trip and off I went. So I went down to played at Dundonald Links on Thursday morning. Had some wonderful hospitality there. Got to see Dundonald Links in tournament preparation. It was closed for normal play. They were only letting some book guests play. I was one of those. Got to see it set up. It's great, nice and green. Obviously watered the fairways a little bit because it's been quite dry over there. It improved so much since I was there in 2016. Golf course is great. It's a new links. It's a links, but it's a new links. It's a modern links. It's not a old shaped by the shifting sands of the time type links and the livestock treading on there. It's a modern links. But what they've done in and around that, so this is interesting information if anyone is looking to stay in that part of the world, which is Ayrshire. So Ayrshire's Troon, Turnberry, Prestwick, and then a whole stack of other courses that you've never heard of that you should hear of, West Kilbride, Irvine Bogside, Kilmarnock, Barassi, Dundonald, Western Gales, Glasgow Gales, they're all there. They put in accommodation and 2 different types of accommodation. So little hotel rooms on the course and little cabins with all putting greens in front of them. So perfect for stay. They've got a clubhouse. It's awesome. So I played there in the morning and then just basically literally got in the car, drove out the driveway, turned left, first left, and you're on the other side of the train tracks at Western Gales. Now, Western Gales is one of those old traditional links shaped by the sands. And it was a vastly different experience. It's baked out and hard. It was like what you saw at St Andrews, the firm and fast. The fairways were 2 times the speed of the greens. And I didn't hit a driver all day. I just hit 2 irons and 4 irons. It's a sort of out, back and in loop between the water and the train line. Amazing golf course, mix of bunkers. They've got revetted pop bunkers up near the green, and then they've got those natural shape where the grass hangs over the bunker lips as fairway bunkers. Just a great, awesome, proper links experience. The dunes, not too high, but there's some really cool holes. It's awesome. So that was Thursday. And this is where it gets really good. So Friday was jam-packed. Got up early, flew the drone around a little bit, tried to get a couple of photos. Had a 9:45 sailing from the harbour of Ardrossan, which is just up on the Ayrshire coast. That's where the ferries go. Now, this part of the world on the west coast, you've got all the islands, all the outer islands, Islay, Iona, all of them. And you all get to them by ferries. So Ardrossan is a ferry point for the Isle of Arran. Arran is that big island that sits off the Ayrshire coast, which you see, it's a big holiday destination. So we went across there. Now, first mistake of the trip. There's two mistakes I've made on this part of the trip so far. First mistake, travel advice, travel warning. For anyone that's traveled on the Queenscliff ferry, Mike, you and I have done that many times. When you park your car on the Queenscliff ferry, which is a similar size ferry, maybe a little bit smaller, but same sort of thing, multi-level decks, cars and trucks and all that sort of stuff. What can you do when you park your car in?
Get out.
Yeah, you can get out. If you want to reel back the seat and have a snooze for 5 minutes, what can you do after you finish your snooze? Get out and go upstairs and grab a coffee. Can't do that on the Cal McBrain Caledonian ferries. I got on there and I was on the phone and I was editing a few photos or doing whatever. And all of a sudden the door's locked. I'm like, hang on, I'm locked in the hold of a boat. I probably shouldn't be down here. You definitely couldn't open them. I definitely didn't want to hit the fire alarm or put the door that says, open for in case of emergency. And I'm walking around this platform. It's like a 50-minute ferry ride across. And I'm walking around this platform thinking I'd hope to get someone's attention and say, sorry, pal, can you let me out for a wee cup of tea, pal? And no, it wasn't to be. And every time I walk past the car alarms are going off. So every car in the whole, and then you know what car alarms like? One was setting off the other. It was like dogs barking at each other. Like this car alarm would go, and this one would go off. And I'm walking around going, I'm setting all the car alarms off. So I just got back in the car and, I hope nothing happened. Of course, nothing happens on the ferries. They're safe as. But at least 10 minutes to go before docking, they opened the doors up and I got out and said, thanks very much. I've been stuck down there. You're not supposed to be down there, pal. I know. I realise that now, mate. So, it was nice. So anyway, got off the ferry. We're now on the island of Arran. If you're a map watcher, you can check out where that is. You land at a town called Brodick, 22 miles over the hill. Arran's like a mini version of Scotland. It's got lowlands and highlands. You go over the hill and we get to Shiskin. And we played Shiskin Golf and Tennis Club. It's one of the old, original, ancient golf courses. Unbelievable. Very firm and it's baked out, but it didn't matter. 12 holes. So that's Prestwick was 12 holes, Shiskin 12 holes, and a couple of other of those, courses of note all laid out as 12-hole loops at the start. And it was Tom Morris that came along and started to introduce 18 holes. You play up these crags and downhill and little par threes and little par fours and looking out over the coast. Just amazing. So that's where I met Lynx Robbie Wilson, who, the more time you spend with Robbie, the more you get to know and like and love Robbie, because he's just an awesome human. And the way I'll tell the story is this. We met some people in the clubhouse paying Hamish. Shout out to Hamish, who does a great job over there at Shiskin, sells some calendars, Shiskin calendars. He's got the best photography of Shiskin that you'll ever see. So he sells his calendars for 10 quid, posts them all over the world. I'll post some pictures. I bought one. There were some Australians there, obviously noticed the Australian accent. And Robbie said, well, why don't you come with us? Ross, you got no issues? I said, yeah, of course. A couple of members from Royal Adelaide. So, he's like, turns around and goes, oh, I've got an Australian here. And, how do you guys know each other? And I sort of, Robbie wasn't there, but I said, look, what you've got here is the best tour guide for golf in this part of the country that no one knows of. And he's shown more people these parts of the golfing world than I've had, sliced sausage breakfasts. He's a very special man, and he's very highly regarded for his knowledge around these parts and what he does and who he is. There's some people here that he's hosted around these parts that people seek him out. So we're really lucky. He's like, oh, right. And that's what it was. Robbie tells a story about Shiskin, where to hit it, where not to hit it. And he is a legend in these parts. And I was just so lucky to have his company for the day. Now, he's also a very wise decision maker as well. So we finished our round at Shiskin. It was awesome. I'll post some pictures. We drive up to the little town of Cranza, Locranza, Cranza, if you want to orient yourself where that is. There's one of the Scottish monuments over there, Cranza Castle. Now, Robbie works for Historic Scotland. He's a stonemason by trade. So his role in the West is to look after these monuments, tend to all the signs, make sure the weeds and the gorse are kept low, any of the artifacts that need redoing and refinishing, he does all of that. So he's amazing. So we got on a little ferry there and went across to Clonaigue, and Clonaigue's about a 50-minute drive down to Machrihanish. And he says, the weather's awesome today. The sunset's going to be magical. The weather's going to be rubbish today. Why don't we fit in Machrihanish this afternoon at 6:00? I said, let's go. And we drove straight down to Machrihanish, jumped on 5 to 6, not a breath of wind, like not one breath of wind. And we played Machrihanish. Now, where's the other place that I said I've had special, movements and feelings over in this golfing journey? What's the other town?
Craigie Law?
No, definitely not. No movements, no movements and special feelings. It's a great golf course. Lahinch.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yep.
And the combination of town, vibe, feeling, outlook, amazing golf course with amazing history. And I'm walking along these fairways of Machrihanish, and I'm feeling this is like Lahinch. This is feeling like Lahinch. I'm getting a Lahinch sort of emotional sort of feeling here. I'm starting to get the heartstrings pulled. And of course, Machrihanish is a Tom Morris course. So the course feels a little bit like that. The dunes are much higher. That whole west coast of Scotland is very connected to, obviously when the tectonic plates shifted, that would have been connected. So it makes sense that coast is like Ireland. And that's what it started to look like, these dunes and the blowouts. And the course is unbelievable. It's so good. Like, it's such a good golf course. You could play there for the rest of your life and never want to play golf anywhere else ever again. It's been a little bit wetter in that part of the country. It was beautiful green. It's just amazing. Of course, no wind, sun setting over in the west. The Hebrides out there, the Jura and all of those places, you can see the hills. It was just, unbelievable. Machrihanish. You've got to go there. Many people do. Machrihanish. There's a couple of other courses down there. Mac Dunes. So Mac Dunes is owned by the Americans. So this is interesting. Americans have bought Mac Dunes, not Machrihanish, Mac Dunes. I don't believe it's quite the same. Obviously, it's a new links. It's in some great land, obviously on the other side of RAF Machrihanish Airport. But the Americans have pumped a heap of money into the accommodation at Machrihanish. They built the hotel and gutted it and stripped it and made it 5-star. They built these villas beside it. The thing that I didn't like about it, like, I'm all up for, that happening and the gentrification and where the money comes from is, America, that's what's happening. But I don't know how you guys feel about this. They have the American and the Scottish flag flying on the pole side by side. Thoughts? Doesn't matter.
Just Americans being Americans.
Am I being too picky? I do all that, but I don't.
No, but it's them being Americans, right?
Yeah, don't fly the flag. You're in this sacred ancient part of Scotland, where Scotland was founded. Like where the Vikings came down and conquered, and the Celts came across. And everyone, don't fly the American flag. Fly it in America. We're in Scotland. Anyway, that's the only complaint. Machrihanish is unbelievable. Stayed at 2 nights in Campbelltown. I didn't play golf on Saturday. Didn't play golf on Sunday. Drove down to Dunavity and had a look. Was going to play golf, but it was raining, blowing a hoolie. I am not Scottish enough to be desperate enough to go out there and play that, but I went and walked part of the course and took some photos and just saw it. It was great. And yesterday, I drove up to Oban, one of the greatest drives that you'll ever do. You'll see the highlands and lowlands and the water and the isles and every part of Scotland, compressed into a 3 or 4 hour drive. I got to Oban. I'd seen that Bobby Mack was in contention. I thought, here we go. I might go to Glen Crutton and see Bobby's family sitting around cheering and join the party. But by the time I got there, it was over and he hadn't won, which was a shame. But a Scotsman did win. I realised I had no accommodation. I hadn't booked my accommodation properly. So I had no accommodation. I was in Oban driving around with no accommodation. So I drove home. And that got me here at 9:30, 10 o'clock last night. And fell asleep in my computer. Here we are, planning another week, another assault. I don't know where I'm going to play this week. So how do those apples grab you, boys? Questions?
Sounds busy.
I have been busy.
Sounds like it's tiring almost.
Yesterday was a long day. But I drove down one hill and those pictures of Scottish glens and valleys that you see, and you just think that's amazing. I'd never thought. I've been to Scotland plenty of times, but I'd never seen that part of the country, and it was quite emotional. Like I think I might have even had some inside the windscreen mist happening as I drove down those hills.
Salt in the eyes, bit of onions.
I had something happening. There was the BP was up, the heart rate was going, it was pounding. It was just beautiful. And all I wanted to do was take a nice photo of a Highland cow and a stag. Don't ask me why. I've got obsessions with. My mum liked Highland cows, so she liked them. So I'm going to take a photo of a Highland cow, but I want to find a stag, like stag, those things. So there were some Highland cows at Campbelltown, which isn't Highlands, it's on the water. But I found them and they were quite obliging for a photo. I took some nice photos, really nice. But as I was leaving Oban up in Hill, down Dale, I see these cars pulled over at the side. And what are they doing? And as I sort of motored past, there were these majestic Highland cows standing on top of a hill in a real Highland setting. And I was like, I've got to go back and get that. But it went into this narrow winding part. I couldn't turn around for another 10K. So I thought, well, I'll find them elsewhere. But I got down past some part of the town. There was a little sign, golf club. Oh, golf club. And as I drove past the golf club, I could see what I thought was a stag standing in the bunker in this golf club. So I found a turnaround. I went back, double back. Golf course was closed. There was no one there. It was about 6 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock. And it wasn't I don't know what a stag and a deer, but it had two horns instead of the big these ones. It had two horns, and it was standing in the bunker. And I had the long lens, so I took a couple of photos. I'll post them, and I popped the drone up. Once the drone went up, he got scared and ran off. And once again, you look back behind you, and there's one of these big, massive Scottish glens with the mist and the sun piping through it. So I took some photos and got back on the way. Dalmally, I think it's called Dalmally Golf Club. It's not on the map. It's nothing. But there was a deer in the bunker, and I took a photo of it. There you go. Nice. Anyway, who won the 3M? Tony Finau.
Big Tone. Yeah, Big Tone. It was a weird tournament. They had a lot of rain. So the week was especially the second, third round was held up with a little bit of rain delays and things like that. So it was a bit weird, but the bloke who was leading and looked like he was going to run away was Scott Piercy, and Scott Piercy was probably winning by, I don't think he was like clear by 3 or 4 shots coming into the final round. And there's about 3 or 4 shots clear through 11 holes today. And that's when his trouble started. Well, his trouble started, I should say, in the third round because he had a blister. So he was taking off his shoe in between shots. So he'd sort of be wearing his shoe, and then as he had to walk anywhere, he'd take his shoe off because he just walking around in one shoe and one sock just so that he could sort of be able to walk through. That's how sore his foot was. So he's having a big week, Scott. He started the week by putting a new driver and a new putter in his bag, sacking his coach and his caddy and changing all that up, and then played probably some of the best golf he's played in a very, very long time. But yeah, he held on. He was holding on. He was still 3 up. On the 13th, he made another bogey. On 11, he made a bogey, and then he made a birdie on the par 5 12th. Made another bogey after that, and things started to get shaky. And then on 14, everything went pear-shaped. He hit a shot that got plugged in the face of the bunker. Tried to sort of chip out, didn't quite get it well enough, left it in the pot, and then had a water carry for his next shot, which he proceeded to dunk into the water. Then he hit his next shot in, ends up making triple. So he makes triple. All of a sudden, he's gone from 2 shots up. Finau's a couple of groups ahead, and he's made a couple of birdies. All of a sudden, he's almost no chance of winning. So what does Big Tone do once he gets the lead? He's gone birdie through 14, 15, 16, gets to 17, and absolutely airmails this thing with more juice going through him than ever. It would have been, if it actually hit the ground, it would have been 15, 20 meters long of the flag. He's shocked, but not only is he shocked, it then cascades off the television tower at the back of the green and flies back towards the side of the green and stops about a foot from going in the water. So don't know how it doesn't go in the water. Should have been in the water, so he should have been capitulating as well, as Tone would do. Somehow makes his easy par, gets to 18. Again, par 5. All he's got to do really is make par, and it's over because no one's going to catch him now because Piercy's capitulated. Grillo's not going to get there. Sanjay Im's not going to get there. And what does Big Tone do? Big Tone rinses one. So he puts one straight in the one place he can't hit it off 18 tee on a par 5. He could have hit whatever he wanted off the tee. Rinses it, takes his penalty, lays up, gets onto the green, had about, 5-6 feet, or not even that, for his bogey on the last to win it. And that did it. So it was a bit eventful kind of last half hour of a tournament, but I wouldn't say it was a great tournament, but it was good to see Tony win. I think it's his 3rd win now, which was good for a bit of a non-event tournament. there were a few people in the tips that picked him, which is good. And when I say a few, I mean a lot. So the winners this week of the people that actually picked Tony Finau, Joe Tolomeo, Pultz, Goffey, Lewis H, Ursus, Zach Ginevra, Kirky, Dion, Putterface, and AB all picked Tony Finau to win this week. It's pretty good going.
What happened to my guy Hideki? Why did he WD?
I don't know. I did hear some. I actually mentioned it in the preview pod that Rocket and I did. I was actually surprised he was there, just because after the Open and everything else, I don't expect those guys to turn up. And said he might withdraw, and he did. I think there was a lot of conversation around him withdrawing on top of that, because I think a lot of people were expecting him to announce he was heading off to live. But I think he pulled it's either his neck or his back was not quite right, or leg, and yeah, he was.
He's still struggling with whatever injury he's had most of the year.
Yeah,
So
I can't even remember what he shot. I think I'll look it up what he shot, but I think he was a fair way off the pace already.
So most of the guys having a few weeks off, like just to name drop Rocket. Well, I didn't speak to anyone in the compound. Michael Greller did come up and have about a 20-minute conversation with us at North Berwick with Josh, and I just sat there and listened. Eve's dropped in, but they were saying that he had like 3 weeks off, and I was like, it was the first time.
Wait for the FedEx Cup.
Yeah, so
because there's about 3 events before you get to the lead up to the net club championship. So because you really pretty much have had no break whatsoever between the US Open and the Open.
Yep.
And they're set. If they're in the top, 50, they're a rock solid chance to stay there until at least the tournament before the Tour Championship. And if they have a good run in one of those 2 events, they're going to make it to the Tour Championship. So, so 3M was this week, then Rocket Mortgage next week, then the Wyndham, and then they go straight into the FedEx, BMW, and Tour Championship. So I would say most didn't play this week, obviously, and there's not many playing at Rocket Mortgage, and then Wyndham's after that. So I'm not sure about the field on that one yet. But Hideki had shot. He shot 77 with a 9 on his last hole. So yeah, that's probably not good.
Well, thanks, Hideki. Now I'm officially out of the running for.
No. We've kept it all the way through. So if someone has a really good Tour Championship or gets through, it'd be interesting to see how many people have got players left come the Tour Championship, because there'll only be 30 left, and you would think there'd be guys that are up the top. Speaking of guys up the top 5, Michael Lloyd still sitting there, 11.675. Nomadic Golfer in second. The Doctor up to third. 3-putt or die fourth, and no 3 putts is fifth. They're all probably in the mix. And I should have mentioned last week, which I didn't, and I remembered halfway through, but hadn't done the sums yet. We had the competition on who would pick the most winners or get the most value from the majors. We had a prize. I think we said, I'll go back and listen, but I reckon we said a Drummond voucher for $150, maybe something like that.
Yeah, we might change that to $150 worth of special edition
merchandise. I can't see.
Oh, you can't see.
You're green screening yourself and disappearing on us. You look like a magician.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's
a towel.
That's the My Love of Golf caddy towel. There'll be a My Love of Golf hoodie and a t-shirt. That'll do.
Yep.
Scotland edition.
Nomadic Golfer. Nomadic Golfer was the winner, comfortably, and that was purely on the back of doing what no one else could even get close to doing, and picked 2 winners out of 4. So had the winner in the Masters and the winners in the US Open.
Tony, can you send us your address where we can send it? If you are a true nomadic golfer, where do we send it?
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Attention to any address, any golf course that he's probably going to. Special mentions to the next couple. Bobby, my mate, came home with a pretty strong finish in second. Michael Lloyd in third. No thanks to Doc. Doc doesn't get any more thanks. He finished the marketing department. He finished fourth. No 3 putts, fifth. Just quickly interjecting a quick story about Doc while we're talking about Doc. We had the GMGA Open Championship this Sunday, just gone, yesterday, down at Moonlinks Open Course. off the back or the close to back markers, and you'll be happy to know that the M-Log team stood up and had a 1-2 finish.
Oh,
So
well done.
Young Doc was the winner on 40 points, dominated, and I pulled a Rory backdoor second place with 23 points on the back nine and finished second with 38, 15 and 23. Stock standard Mike Golf. But yeah, no, Doc had a ripping day. So Doc won the claret jug and the dollars, the prize fund for the day. So that was very good by the doctor.
Very good.
Yeah. So that was that. That was the PJ event this week and the GMGA event this week.
What else? So the Scottish Senior Open was played at Glen Eagles. Big Darren Clark won that.
He did, right? Yeah. I only watched a little bit late. It seemed it was a very bunched finish. There's lots of guys around 8 under. Like you said before, Ernie Els was right in the mix. Stephen Elker, shockingly, was in the mix because he's in there every week. Broadhurst was there, I know that. And really the only ones that quite late looked like they were a chance were Elker, Harrington, and Clark. Harrington got in the clubhouse at 9, and the rest of the guys were sort of started at 8. And then Clark had to make birdie up the last on the par 5 to win it. He came up short for his third shot, the second shot, just the front of the green. It looked like he had about 100-foot putt up the hill. And they said when he pulled his putter out, "Oh, this is a safe play." And I thought that's a safe play if it was me. Like I'd be pulling out the putter there, but I was a bit surprised he was because it was a long ways uphill. It was a bit dewy. The rain was out. Paddy was in the clubhouse. In the scorer's hut looking out the window, and everyone had the umbrellas up. I thought he's going to have to give this a proper whack, this putt. But to his credit, Clark belted the hell out of it, put it all the way up, and he had about 2 feet for the win for the birdie, and he did. He got it. So I think he's the second or third to win the Open Championship double, the senior and the normal. Rocket would be the only person to be able to tell you who the other two are because I can't.
I don't care about senior stuff.
What else? The Evian? Who won the Evian?
Brooke won. I didn't watch it. But I only know the Brooke won because we had a podcast listener question from Smitty. Smitty asked, with Brooke's win, is it time, and probably in conjunction with the people leaving, is it time we start thinking about the future of the President's Cup and looking at it being a mixed event? Anyone got any solid thoughts? Would you let that happen at PK?
Yeah, I would be all for it if there was an event that was men and women together, state against state, mate against mate. Absolutely. No problems. Whether it's the President's Cup or what, who knows? President's Cup, Ryder Cup. Ryder Cup dead, cheapers, weepers. We had a captain team. Europe had a captain 2 weeks ago, and now they don't. It's a whole nother conversation and topic. But yeah, I would. But anyway, Brooke Henderson, what a player. So Scottish Women's this week at Dundonald Links, good field, LPGA, LET. Co-sanctioned event, so there's a strong field down there. I think Minji's playing down there. Obviously, all the women are going down there in the lead up to the British Women's Open. It is called the British Women's Open. It's not called the Open. The Open is the Open. It's the British Women's Open, and not the Geelong Open either. Who was that? Was that Blakey, or who was that? Someone was having a crack in the Discord about the naming. I
was just trying to fire everyone up and get him to say it because I know how much it absolutely pisses you off.
The British Women's Open is at Muirfield next weekend. The weekend after next. So there's still a lot of golf happening over here. I was out playing Dundonald, and there was a lot of the young LET team Thailand girls out there playing, already out there practicing. Good on them. Good luck. I can't remember their names, but they let me play through. Thank you. There's a lot of stuff happening. We should try and do this again if we can match up the time zones and my travels or not. So, yeah. Mike, anything else? this week?
No.
week,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. This week, just quickly, is the Rocket Mortgage. So as we've been posting each week, I'll have a little screenshot of the data lake in there for the guys and girls that have signed in. They'd be happy because Tony Finau was the number 1 pick last week and he won. So that's good. Rocket will be very happy this week. He's going to be very, very torn on who to pick because Max Homer's back, Cameron Young's back, Thor Bjornsson's playing.
I know. I've already
know how to do himself.
I know.
He's
I've already got money on Thor Bjornsson.
The main guys that have come to the top of the lake are Cantlay, Homer, Young, McNeely, Bradley, maybe Kevin Kisner. There's a few others in there. I'll post them in, and everyone can have a look. But it seems that every time I give out the names, the problem is everyone uses those picks. And then if I don't pick the right one in the one and done, everyone goes past me, like this week with Tony Finau. So I'm going to have to start throwing in some dodgy names and telling you that Alex Smalley's a massive chance this week.
Smotherman.
Yeah, Smotherman played all right the other week. He was waiting for you. When he wins, it's going to be a big party at him.
Yeah, no, Smotherman. Rocket, you all right? How's the triplets going? How's that project Rocket 4-ball?
So been a few weeks off because everyone's been in Melbourne town. So, so they were a little bit rusty, but they were very excited to get their new bags and their putters actually now cut down to size. So yeah, it was just good to see them. Like, they were super excited. And Elijah, God bless his cotton socks, he's this little quote machine. We're driving, we're on the way there, and he goes, "Hey, Dad, remember when I those first couple of lessons and I really didn't like it?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I really like it now. I think I've grown as a person." He's 11. It's like a little Yoda. Oh, he's so funny. He's so funny. And he gets, they all have a little frustration and stuff like that. And then, yeah, it's just good fun. It's really hard because I've got to try and get them all in the same spot. And they're doing that every now and then. I'll miss one, just like absolute cracking one. Like, there were a couple of times when I've missed Elijah cracking one because I saw Phoenix, and she's absolutely just, it's great when they just, when one clicks, like their swing gets it and they just click one, and you can just see them go, oh, it's like the chase is on. And it's just, you can see the frustration when they've absolutely clicked a couple, and then all of a sudden it's back to just bad shots again, right? Or missing it and stuff like that. And you can see the frustration. I'm like, yeah, it's the bug. It's like,
I can see now, like 6-7 years from now, the TaylorMade announcement on Instagram, the three of them behind each of their staff bags with the names on the front. You're just going to be over the moon. You already are at the thought of it.
I'll be bumping into you in the TaylorMade tour van at the Open, not Sean Flaherty. I'll be bumping into you.
Look, for me, it'll be if all three of them like even love the game half as much as me, and we get to have it like a family thing that we're going to play and do this sort of stuff. Like, that's all. As long as they love it, that's all that matters. If they don't and they want to do something else, I'm okay with that. But if all three of them like fall in love with it and then continue on and like get to the point where it's like our holidays become golf holidays, Mrs. Rocket's going to freaking hate that. But, she's going to be outgunned, outweighed. So if that sort of stuff happens, like,
mate,
so good.
It's a fait accompli. You've already got the Mobile Rocket Junior Tour accommodation new age caravan brought to you by Tournament Vehicle there. Just park that in the car park. Mrs. Rocket can...
Maybe TaylorMade need to give me one of the old tour trucks and just convert it and put some bunks and stuff in there.
Can I interject for a sec? Just on that. So we released that podcast. That was basically the audio from the video that I took when I got a tour of the TaylorMade tour van. If you haven't listened to that and you want to know what it's like inside the tour van,
really good. I listened to it this morning.
Go and listen. If you want to watch it, it's a full video on the Drum and Golf YouTube. So I made the video. It's over there on Drum and Golf. I did in that call Sean Flaherty Rory's caddy. Clearly, Sean Flaherty is not Rory's caddy. He's Rory's manager. He's the one that you'll see, walking 3 steps behind Rory and a lot of the vision of
Harry's his caddy.
Of course. It was a slip of the tongue. Finno is in there. Funny guy. So unbelievable. Go and check that out. Just speaking back to your guys, who the little backdrop there is, who was responsible for making? I'm assuming that they made little caricatures of us. There's Rocket. There's a Lego character of a ginger beard. That must be me.
No. It's like a Wild West one that I already had on my desk, and then I've got another one where he's like carrying like a sword. Then there's the M-Log one. That was one that was made by Elijah and Elijah. No, it might have been Hunter and Mrs. Rocket. And then we've got the one in the background, the golf green. So that was Elijah built that for my birthday, and then they bought off online the 2 Rocket Legos for my birthday.
Good. Guys, I think I'm not sure how long we've been recording for. It's time for me to have a wee Scottish breakfast. That might be in the shape of this Lindor chocolate ball. I'm batching at the moment. So anyway, guys, it's been great to catch up. Sorry, our wonderful plans of trying to do little check-ins here and there between Wi-Fi's and timing and driving and all that sort of thing. Like many things, my great plans sometimes not bigger exceed the vision that exceeds the capability of delivering. But anyway, here we are now. It's been good to catch up with both of you. See you doing well. Well done on the golf last weekend, Mike, to you and the Doctore. We should call it up. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next week on the My Love of Golf podcast. There'll probably be some more Scotland talk. Hopefully we've got some more golf talk as well. We'll see you then.